الله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الحمد لله نحمده تبارك وتعالى ونصلي على جميع أنبيائه ورسله ونستفتح بالذي هو خير. سبحانك ربنا لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. ربنا آتنا من لدنك رحمة وهيئ لنا من أمرنا رشدا. نعوذ بك اللهم من شرور أنفسنا وسيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له. ونشهد أن محمدًا عبده ورسوله صلى الله وسلم عليه وعلى آله وصحبه. أما بعد. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. All praise are due to Allah who made us Muslims, give us the Quran, and give us the time and chance to choose to come to the masjid at this time to learn from His book and earn some guidance. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to guide us by the Quran and to protect us from hellfire by the Quran. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to raise our rank by the Quran. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us beneficial knowledge, and especially the knowledge in the Quran. Also, all praise to Allah that we are in Surah Isra. We are almost half of the Mus'haf after 8 years journey. This was started in 2004, and now we are here in the middle of the Mus'haf. That is really good. Now we started Surah Isra or Surah Bani Israel, and we said Isra is the nightly journey, to travel at night called Isra. And the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was made to travel nightly from Mecca to Jerusalem and then ascend to heaven, where he received so many things. That is not the subject of it. Now we are talking about Al-Isra, and we said the theme of Al-Isra is the verse number 9, which Allah said, indeed or certainly this Quran guide to that which is the best. And the first also verse in Surah Al-Kahf, Alhamdulillah alladhi anzala ala abdihi al-kitaba wa lam yaj'al lahu 'iwaja qayyiman or qiyaman. Praise to Allah who have sent down the book that is straight, has no crookedness in it, and it is all full of values and principles which are the best. Praise to Allah. So, and before that we said Surah Al-Nahl finished with the story of Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam, who is also established these values on earth by establishing the oneness of Allah in Mecca. Now, the surah has a story in it, which is the story of Bani Israel in the future, not in the past. It started with the journey of the Prophet ﷺ from Mecca to Jerusalem. From there on, the surah explaining the future role of Muslims and the future role of the Bani Israel in the coming time, as related to the Quran and to Muslims and to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We said Allah has made Ibrahim trustee to the guidance of humanity, and answered his dua to transfer that trust to his offspring, and went through his offspring Isaac and Jacob and Joseph and Moses and Isa alayhi salatu wasalam. And then by the coming of Isa alayhi salatu wasalam, those people disqualified themselves from being the carrier, the trustee of this guidance. And the reasons are many. Basically, they are summarized in Surah Al-A'raf, started verse 163. And it is the story of the Sabbath. And it is not by itself the event of the Sabbath. It's the mentality and methodology to get way around the straight path. That is exactly how they disqualify themselves. that whenever there is an order of Allah and conflicts with their interest or benefit or worldly gain, they find way around it to get what they want to get, as it is clear from the story of the Sabbath, wherein the Sabbath is they supposed to exclusively have this day for just devotional worship, purely, nothing else, no worldly affairs to be conducted or managed or dealt with during this day. It is a day for totally, all of it is a day for devotional activities and worship. And so, as we know, Allah said He's going to test everybody in a different way and means. He tested them by how much they are committed to fulfill this order, which is Sabbath means Sabbath. Because you can claim, but the test is going to tell us whether you are really committed or not committed. You can claim so many things. You can claim, as we know, you can claim that you trust in Allah, then Allah will bring you a test. And the test only is going to tell whether you are sincerely, firmly have that commitment or not. So Allah has tested them by that, by sending their fish on that village, which is on the Khalij al-Aqaba, on the Red Sea, and the fish used to be on every Saturday taken sunbathing. And the people just see this is kind of money on the surface of the water. And food, the best food, and they want it. So they want to make money and they want to feed up themselves good way. So, but the order of Allah is there. Well, that is the test. Here the order of Allah and here your interest, or your desires, or your worldly benefit. And they are in conflict. Either I do the Sabbath, or I go and earn some money and fish and hunt. And so, because of their weakness in Iman and their crooked mentality at that time, they have deviated so far from the guidance that was left to them during Musa and so on and so forth. So they just found way around it. It is forbidden to do business during this day. And they want to comply with that order. But at the same time, they want to do business. So basically, they have found a way around it. As we said, they put their nets the night before, and they collect the fish the night after. As if they have done nothing wrong. Sabbath, they did not do any, they conducted no business, no fishing and nothing. It is outside the limits. Allah said Saturday. Okay, Saturday we are going to observe this order. But we are going to do our business when the fish come, and fish comes only on Saturday. So we're going to find a way, as all of you know, that around it. And this is the mentality and other issues coming here that disqualified them totally from to continue as a trustee to carry that guidance to humanity. And the journey of Isra and the coming of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was a sign. It is time to transfer this to other offsprings of Ibrahim, which is Ismail and his people after that. And so this is what the surah is about, transferring this trust from those children of Ibrahim and his offspring to the other part of its children of Ibrahim, to the Ismail. And why? Now, in connection to that, as the Quran said, they are not going to give up, and they are not going to surrender to the order of Allah that it is time for you to step aside. It is time for you to join the new ummah and the new guidance. They refused. And they refused totally to accept even Isa alayhi salatu wasalam and the coming of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, they refused. And Allah has invited them over and over and over. Join the righteous group. You already denied Isa and you committed the biggest mistake in your life, and led you to disqualify your position. Now you get another chance, which is the coming of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Don't repeat the same mistake. You are going to be definitely cursed if you repeat the same mistake and deny Muhammad as you denied Jesus alayhi salatu wasalam. Well, as we know, they refused totally, as they refused Isa alayhi salatu wasalam, they refused Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And so Allah said, well, things are going to go the way Allah wants, not what you want. And they are going to, the authority, the trust is going to be transferred to the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam and his companions. And it is allowed for you to attempt to take it over, to do exactly what they did to Isa alayhi salatu wasalam, to destroy him or to distort his message, to fight him back, to do whatever you want to do, you are allowed. But the matter being decided, this trust is going to be transferred to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And here the surah given us two major attempts in claiming that position again. And it was, Allah said, it was decreed and given that permission, they can attempt. But their attempt will not lead to regain that trust and become the trustee of Allah to carry the guidance of humanity. They might regain power or might, domination, but the trust has been moved to the Muslims. Now, the verses as we go through them, وَقَضَيْنَا إِلَى بَنِي إِسْرَائِيلَ, which is verse number 4. I think it's good to listen to the translation carefully. And the dialogue or the narration is saying there are two groups. Here group and here group. And they are in conflict. And one time, one group took over, and then they declined, the other group took over, and also for the second time, it comes again, when the first group took over, and then they are crushed, not just declined, by the second time, they were crushed, probably eternally and permanently. Once you follow the word of Allah, you can tell it is the same group. And as we know, Muslims did not exist before Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. There was no Muslims. There was no masjid. So if it is the same group, and one group is the children of Israel and one group of Muslims, then it has to be since this event occurred. Because there was no confrontation in the past between Muslims and Jews. There was none. They have confrontation with others, and it was not in this narration. Basically, the Jews, throughout the history, they never been stronger than their enemy in any period of time. Never. All enemies they faced, they crushed them, they scattered them, they dispersed them, they kicked them, evicted them from Europe, from Jerusalem, from Babel, from so and so forth. But they never regained power over that enemy whatsoever throughout all history.
Sheikh is the exception of Sulaiman.
But not against enemies, against themselves. Sulaiman, alayhi because they were fighting against themselves. I mean, you mean Dawood?
No, I mean when they went to Yemen and took and with the Sadr and so forth, and when he used to send armies across basically the globe. But that wasn't not a part of the Islamic.
Right. This is not a part of the Islamic history, nor.
I mean, it is a part of it.
These were not their enemies. The Sheba were not enemies of the Jews. This is a separate kingdom, and Sulaiman was a king, and his job to spread the message. Once he discovered there is a whole kingdom worshipping idols and worshipping stars, He has to open it and spread guidance to it. But they were never their enemies when they were fighting in the past.
As a group, as a race, not as a religion.
Even religion, they were not fighting. They were not fighting. And the evidence is the bird said to Sulaiman, "You are not aware of something happening."
Right.
So they were not fighting.
But it was an Islamic state at that time, which has nothing to do with race.
Now, طيب. And so basically there is none. In the history there is absolutely none. That same enemy, they fought twice and they regained power over them. It never happened. Sulaiman alayhi salatu wasalam was basically able to unify them. They were fighting among themselves. Big time. So Sulaiman was able to unify them and create Islamic State. Right? Sulaiman has a kingdom that is Islamic 100%, just like Ibrahim, like all others. And this is just the fulfillment of the mission of Musa alayhi salatu wasalam, because Musa was, as you know, left and his mission was not accomplished. And they went in disarray after Musa for a long time and they were demonized, as you see the Quran say, to the point where they say, we are willing to make jihad and support the deen. Oh, Allah send us a messenger and appoint a king on us. So those just against themselves. And so Allah has given them the power, and that's where Sulaiman was able to lead them to victory over their disarray, their internal conflict, and bring the mission of Musa to conclusion, where the state guided by Allah was established in the whole area in the Middle East, not just in Jerusalem, but his capital and his center of rule was in Jerusalem. And after that, they have absolutely gained no power anymore. As a state, or as an army, or as a nation that is known. They were scattered, dispersed everywhere, and they were known as a race, but never as a nation, and never as a religion, ummah, or never as an army. That's it, until the coming of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So we listen to the translation and from
just verse number 4.
From 4 and just keep going.
Inshallah. Bismillah. And Allah Ta'ala decreed for the children of Israel in the scripture, indeed, you would do mischief in the land twice, and you will become tyrants and extremely arrogant. So when the promise came for the
first two, so number mischief, tyrant, arrogant. Tell me when the Jews in history they were like that. In all history, mischief, tyrant, arrogant. They were demonized throughout the history.
All the time.
And during Sulaiman were not tyrant, were justice and fair, were guided, were righteous, were not arrogant, were not tyrant. Sulaiman never has anything like that. Okay?
So when the promise came for the first of the two, Allah sent against you.
Sent, he said sent. Here the Quran said the Arabic word is ba'adna. What is ba'adna? It's not sent. Ba'adna, you know what is ba'ad?
It's from the Yom al-Ba'ath.
Right, what is it?
It's after something being did, it was resurrected.
Ba'athna, someone kind of was dead and then resurrected. Someone was insignificant and become so significant. Something was like Bedouin Arabs were absolutely worthless, like dead. And then we resurrected them to dominate the whole world. These are the people. Ba'athna. Raised them up. Probably from no existence or insignificant. And that's exactly what Arabs through the history were not significant, has no role to play. And that's Allah said, resurrected them. And that's, you remember, the Roman Empire said, what brought you Bedouin Arabs to our kingdom? How you are resurrected this way and you become dominating the whole world? So the word ba'athna, that's exactly what is it. And Muhammad is bi'tha, his commission, his mission started. Okay? Ba'athna.
So you mean like spiritual?
Right. Not physically. They were spiritually dead.
Okay.
Muslim Arabs, well, they were spiritually dead.
Or the Tawheed.
Right.
Okay.
Good. So that is ba'athna.
So
Ba'athna alaykum.
So when the promise came for the first of the two, Allah sent against you servants of ours given to terrible warfare. They entered the
Now
very-
listen to this, the translation here also. Ba'athna alaykum what?
and we sent, Allah sent against you servants of ours given to terrible warfare.
That is given to terrible warfare. It's not right.
Great military might, I have.
What is it?
Great military might.
They possess. Actually, the Arabic word, they possess great military power. But it's not they use it against you. They possess a great power of fight, but they didn't use it. What they did instead? جاسوا خلال الديار. What did they say? What did they do?
They said, the translation more or less, they entered.
They entered. They didn't use their might against you.
They entered the very innermost parts of your home. They subdued you.
They said exactly that's what the Sahaba did. They came to this tribe, Banu Qurayza, Banu Nadir, Khaybar, all of this. Basically, they were really, the Sahaba have the greatest might of power and fight. But they did not use it. Actually, they evacuated. They say, time for you to leave, time for you to leave. And they walked through all these homes and houses, which is very intimate to them, and kicked them out. But the Quran did not say they used destruction or the might and power they have to destroy. No. He described them what quality of this. Number one, resurrected them, re-empowered them. We brought them spiritually to be living. They were physically there, but they were insignificant. They were basically spiritually resurrected.
Sheikh, and this surah was revealed before the actual event.
Right. Okay, number one, the description of these people. And they are our own servant. I mean, they are righteous, they are guided, they are servant of Allah. And number three, they possess great power of fight and might. But they did not use it. They basically walked through your dwelling and kicked you out. And that is only they own and they possess the might. If they want to crush you, they would. Okay?
Then Allah gave you a return of victory over them.
Okay? Then Allah, He didn't say resurrected you, because they are already there, the Jews, and they were significant through the history. So He didn't use the same word. For Arabs, Allah resurrected them because they were spiritually insignificant. But for the Jews, they were there, and they were religiously, spiritually, were significant in part of their history. So He said, what did we do?
And Allah gave you a return of
A return.
victory over them.
A return. And that is the key word. They came and they evacuated you and took over your dwelling. And then after a while, we gave you a return over them. Okay?
And Allah helped you with wealth and children.
Now, رددنا لكم الكرة. Return what?
You mean the first? Then
No,
Allah
then we
gave you a victory over them, and Allah helped you with wealth.
no before this. This starts all over again. The next one. فإذا جاء وعد ثم رددنا لكم الكرة.
Then Allah gave you a return of victory over them.
Yeah. Now there are two, رددنا and كرة. رددنا, return. Okay? Return you. كرة, you get to understand. كرة, when the two armies in the battlefield, basically the war, how it's conducted. Kar and far. One attack, one defend. And then the other one attack, the other one defend. That is called kar. No, yeah, but I mean, you defend even if you have to run away or to escape. It doesn't matter, but basically you try to defend. So, karra wa farra. Even wrestling, you attack and that's withdraw a little bit. And then turn around and come and do the other turn to punch. This is exactly all fighting. It's kar and far. Means attack and defend and retreat. And then you take power and you attack and he has to retreat and defend. And this is how until someone wins. So here the word used, kar. Kar means you are in a position to attack and they are going to return and withdraw and defend. رددنا لكم الكرة, alright? عليهم, over them.
No.
So they attack you first and you withdraw. Now we're giving you, return you to attack them. They withdraw.
Victory over them.
And you become victorious over them.
And Allah helped you.
And in addition to that, you become victorious, but also Allah add to your victory two things.
With wealth and children.
That's exactly. You are provided with wealth and children. People come to fight. They don't have to get married and bear birth and raise and train fighters. They have people come ready to fight from all over the world. The Jews come from all over the world ready to fight. It's not that you get people married, the Jews, and let them produce and then raise them and then train them and then bring them to the battlefield. Ready-made, ready men to fight, provided. And this is exactly what is happening in Palestine. Those coming from all over the world ready to fight. They were not born, raised, trained there to fight. They are ready to fight, okay?
Within Allah, Ta'ala helped you with wealth and children and made you more numerous in manpower.
أكثر نفيرا. The translation is not correct. كثيرا, numerous. But nafir is not a number. Nafir is
like going to
what is nafir?
with the strongest.
النفير العام, you know what is النفير العام? When they draft, what is draft?
They force you to come in.
Okay, that is draft. نفير العام is draft. You can draft a huge army. Okay, that is exactly, nafir is drafting. When you declare war, you can really recruit big number of fighters. And that is, he said, وَجَعَلْنَاكُمْ أَكْثَرَ نَفِيرًا. In normal days, your army is small. But if the time comes for a war and you declare draft, you can draft the biggest number and greater number of fighters than anyone else. And that's exactly what is happening. All right?
And Allah says, if you do good, you do good for your own self, and if you do evil, you do it against yourself.
At this period when they are victorious and being supplied and provided by wealth, everybody giving them and everybody promoting them, their business, their everything, and also providing women ready to fight. Allah said, this is another chance. If you do good, you will do good for yourself. If you don't, the same pattern is going to happen as you before been dispersed and dissected into branches and small people. The same thing is going to happen to you. You are going to be again dispersed throughout the world. Okay? In ahsantum, ahsantum li anfusikum. Means Allah saying, still you have the chance. I mean, today, still they have the chance to do something good for themselves. But as you can tell, they insist not to. Okay?
If you do good, you do good for your own selves, and if you do evil, you do it against yourself.
And that's what they are doing, really evil. And it is going to be against yourself, all right?
Then, when the second promise came to pass,
Now, so give them, as you can tell, give them plenty of time. When they are victorious, supplied with men, power, fight, and they can draft as much as fighters as they want. And give them plenty of time to think about it and do good for themselves. But the second term is going to come. It's not going to be forever that way. But as you can tell from the Quran, it's going to take a period of time for them to stay in that position and giving them the chance to change. All right? Then
when the second promise came to pass, Allah permitted your enemies to humiliate you, disgrace your faces, and to enter the masjid as they had entered it before.
Right. The next time is not going to be like the first time.
I'm sorry, the translation here is wrong. It's not your enemies. It's talking back the very first people that walked in the first time.
Right. With the same group. The same people that you become victorious over them. And have all this power for a long period of time, Allah permit them to give them the return to come and fight you and be victorious over you. Okay, but listen to what they are going to do next time. We have cleared what they did first time. They were righteous, they were good, and they possess the might and the power to fight. But they basically went through your dwellings and evacuated you peacefully. They didn't crash you. They didn't use their might to basically finish it. Now, second time, Allah said it won't be not like the first time. When they are going to do three things.
And Allah permitted those who re-enter to disgrace your faces and enter the masjid as they had entered it before, to destroy with utter destruction all that fell in their hands, subdued you, subjugated you.
So they are going to do three things. Number one, he said, number one, يَسُوءُ وُجُوهَكُمْ. And he said, what is it?
To humiliate, disgrace your faces.
Humiliate and disgrace you. How? Because, yeah. How? Because whatever their claim, and as you can tell, everybody around the world, just thinking about them in a very positive way and admiration way. And as if they are truly claiming the truth. So that is going to be disgraced among the whole world, that your claim was a false and what you have done was wrong. Number one, to humiliate you and disgrace you worldwide. He said it's going to be appear on your faces. You cannot face the world and tell them anything because you have done something wrong. Just like someone admitted his guilt. Number one. Number two, enter the masjid. لِيَدْخُلُوا الْمَسْجِدِ. Enter the masjid. And that masjid to be entered, basically Jerusalem, which is the Masjid al-Aqsa. The masjid that was established when Umar ibn al-Khattab was there. Before that, it was destroyed. So, yet second one, they enter the masjid. And Third one, لِيُتَبِّرُوا مَا عَلَوْا تَتْبِيرًا, and they will destroy things that you elevated. And that elevated is going to be, basically, they are going to build the Sulaiman, what do you call it? Temple.
Suleiman's temple.
Huh?
What?
Yeah.
Was it?
Solomon's temple, yeah.
Temple, yeah. That they are going to raise it.
I'm sorry for keeping to interrupt. I'm trying to understand. It's very precise, all the words. وَيُكَبِّرُوا مَا عَلَوْا. It almost appears as alaw belongs to the people that are coming as they were the ones that built it. Is it possible because they use a lot of Palestinian labor? Maybe that is the... Because it doesn't say لِيُتَبِّرُوا مَا عَلَوْتُمْ.
Right.
It says
No,
مَا
right.
عَلَوْا.
No. I mean, the construction in Israel, done by what? What is the main labor?
Palestinian.
The Palestinians.
SubhanAllah.
So themselves have elevated this structure and themselves they're going to destroy it. But they done it because they need labor, they need money. Whatever you want to build, they will build for you. Right now, the Palestinians, they just need a job. Whatever the Jews want, they will do it. Build this, destroy this. They don't care. We need a job, we need food, and we need money. Whatever you want to build, whatever you want to destroy, this settlement, this is all Palestinian labors. All. So by themselves, they build, and they are, when they come, they are going to destroy it. And that is لِيُتَبِّرُوا مَا عَلَوْا. What they have raised on the surface of the earth is going to be destroyed. But it was raised by them, and they are going to be for you, and is going to be destroyed by them against you.
Ma'alaw, I think.
على whatever raised on the surface of the earth.
I think Bani Israel, Ma'alaw will revert to it, what they did.
In addition to that, yeah, well, materialistically, and also he said already the grace. Definitely, their tyranny and their high position in the whole world, also that is going to be destroyed too. Not just all the materialistic things, but also so whatever you raised, whether it is the rank, the position, the status, the bank, the buildings, the structure, the temple of Sulaiman, whatever you raised, and mostly by them, is going to be destroyed. Tatbira means basically not to exist anymore. And the word tatbira, extensive, extreme, total destruction. Nothing is going to be left. And that's why tatbiru ma'alaw tatbira. This is the most powerful, extensive word that everything will become ashes, everything will be gone as if it was not existed whatsoever. That is when the second time comes.
Sheikh, so where does it implies that this second confrontation is between the Jews and the first group who defeated them? I mean, how do we know that from this the same group?
He just said, we return to you the power over them.
Yes, but
So, them, the same.
So that is
I didn't say, or we return the power over him or over someone else.
But that's when the second time the Jews are going to be defeated.
No.
How do we interpret that this defeat is coming from
The
the
word
same?
liyasu'u, the liyasu'u, this liyasu'u, to disgrace you, is the subject of it is them.
Then refer to Bani Israel, right?
No, liyasu'u, no, the coming, yeah,
تعود على
in the same group.
very first group.
Yasu'u, a verb. What is the subject of it? It's the same mentioned before, same subject. This فعل الفاعل, what is فاعل in English?
Subject.
Subject. So this is yasu'u, a verb. What is the subject of it? It's the same. from what is stated in the first verse.
They defeated you, we give you victory over them.
Right. So that is clear. This is a verb, and the subject is the same subject.
So
Was mentioned.
Muslims, they're going to enter Jerusalem, right?
Yes.
Inshallah.
Sure.
Now the question is how.
And then they're going to destroy whatever Bani Israel.
Israel did. Yeah.
Okay.
Basically, in the beginning, the Roman, what happened? They destroy everything and they eliminate any trace that belonged to the Jews. Whatever indicate that they were there or they have anything to do with it, they eliminate it totally. Total. And so, in this case, it's going to be the same thing. Whatever that indicating that it belongs to them or they were here will be eliminated totally. And they are going to be scattered around the same way. They will be scattered and dispersed throughout the whole world. But they are going to be basically totally eradicated in a way that there are no evidence, no traces, no archaeology, no written, no document, nothing to indicate they were here or if something was belonged to them. Totally, just like the Roman they did. That is takbirah. Means there is nothing you can claim. There is nothing you can indicate that you were even here. Absolutely. Now the question, how they going to enter? That is, he said, كَمَا دَخَلُوهُ أَوَّلَ مَرَّةٍ.
At the time of Umar.
They are going to enter the masjid in a way similar to the way they entered the masjid the first time. And so Muslims have been to Jerusalem twice. Number one, the first one with Umar ibn al-Khattab. And the second one was with Salah ad-Din. So there is a big difference between these two, and we mentioned last time, the Salah ad-Din, there was a fight. I mean, the city was full of blood, whether from the crusade or from the Christians and so on and so forth, or from the Salah ad-Din fighters have to basically liberate Jerusalem and get rid of all Catholics from there. But he said this time it will not be like that. It will be exactly the way Umar ibn Khattab entered. And Umar ibn Khattab, when he entered, there was no fight. They just came and said, we surrender and we want to save our stuff and we surrender. They are going to surrender, but nothing belonging to them will be saved. We will be saved what belongs to Christians. We get to protect their temples, their churches, their religious affairs. Christians, we get to protect it. But the Jews, we are not too, because they don't have it really. They don't have anything really that is followed what Musa did. They don't have anything. This is a secular state. Israel is not a religious state. They are a secular state. They made all things in contrary to what Musa have done. There are a few groups, they call them Orthodox, just like those in New York. But they have no value in the state of Israel. They have no significance. They don't have much say on what is going on there. Absolutely not. And so that is, they are going to surrender, but also whatever marks they have is going to be taken away. So that is the whole story. Finish number 8 and 9.
It may be that your Lord may show mercy unto you.
Just I saying that Allah said, I hope you learned. Because this is not the first time. This is the second time. Hope you're going to learn. And you're going to take the mercy of Allah and become Muslim. But if not, what of it?
But if you return to disobedience, to sins, Allah shall return His punishment. And Allah has made hell, I see it, a prison for the disbeliever.
Right. So hopefully you will learn, but if you don't, the same thing is going to happen again. If you do it again, the law of Allah is going to be applied to you. And then number 9, that is the conclusion of this story.
Indeed, verily, this Quran guides to that which is most just and right.
Now, the Quran is coming to guide to that which is just and right. But there are obstacles in the way of Quran to make just and valuable society. And one of them is this. the Jews and their religious claim. So that obstacle has to be removed from the way for the Quran to guide to that which is just and valuable. And all these obstacles are going to be removed. This is the biggest one, but any other obstacles, as we know, who is going to come to some place after this, the Roman, basically European will stand, and they will become the biggest obstacle, and they will be removed, as we know. Muslims will head right away from Jerusalem to Rome, direct, because the Pope at that time will stand up and start calling for draft for Christians to liberate Jerusalem from the Muslims, and the confrontation will continue, and Muslims will march to Rome, and that's going to be the end of the Catholicism in the whole world, because it's going to be exactly like what happened to the Jews in Palestine is going to happen to the Catholicism it will be at that time is so weak, and it is already internally ill, have a lot of cancer in it by itself, and so they're going to come and just remove it from. Basically, the purpose is to let people free to choose what religion they want, not to keep them compelled and with this dogma that is dominating the world. Again, the purpose is this verse, that Quran has to be given the way to guide humanity to that which is fair and just and valuable. And those obstacles that stops this from being completed are going to be removed. That is number 9. Now, I think the whole story finished. We already discovered, okay, so what is going to happen? That is what we're going to happen. They are going to stay there, and they're going to dominate, and they're going to become tyrant, and they have the power and might to draft as much as they want to fight, and have the say in all aspects. For, as Allah said, give them a chance for a period of time. And to finish they still, one of this point, they want to finish it by building the temple of Sulaiman. And it is already, they are talking about it, and also bringing the cow that Musa ordered them to slaughter, and then also bringing the tabut. What is tabut?
The Ark of the Covenant.
The Ark of the Covenant of Musa and his brother Harun, which in it something left over from Musa and Harun, their families. These are all has to come together, and that's because they think if these all come together, God will send angels for them to fight and take over the whole world. Once they finish these accomplishments, God will send the angels to fight with them and take over the whole world. Well, I don't know whether once they finish this or not, but this is exactly what's going to happen. They are going basically to lose it all and go back again the way they were, dispersed throughout the world. Now the question comes, when the Muslims or the Palestinians are going to gain this power or to do the second one?